You know, I think 35 millimeters is like my absolute favorite focal length now. Like for a while, like shooting these YouTube videos, I've been using like 20 millimeter focal lengths, even 18. So like for example, whoa, headphones. For example, this Extra Muse is a 20 millimeter focal length, which I've used this for, this type of setup. But I'm finding that I like the 35 millimeter focal length. There's something about it that looks a little more cinematic, if you will. And I don't have to have it so the camera's like right in my face and kind of distorting things. The only challenge with using a 35 millimeter equivalent, like for example, this is the 24 millimeter f2.8G on the A6700. It's a little farther away, and because of that, you can't really control the camera, so you have to make sure everything's set up before you sit down and start yapping. So the other issue is audio, and currently I have the Rovio Micro on a little tripod with a 4-foot 3.5 millimeter cable right into the camera. If you're curious about like audio settings on the A6700 and this mic, I have the gain set to like minus 10, which is pretty low. The preamps in this camera are pretty strong, and this microphone is pretty sensitive, so I have that set low. I rather have it too low than too high and peaking, and I can always boost it in my editing software. So I just wanted to kind of play around with this focal length, seeing what's in the frame here with this 35 millimeter. The window seems a little blown out though. I don't know. I do have that LED panel light that I talked about in a previous video, which is providing, the key light here, but it's just not really balancing out that window there as I'm figured this out. There's a lot going on in the world. I just wanted to make like a little video as a break from watching all the news and, play with the camera today to make myself feel a little better. I'm not even sure if this video is adding any value to anybody's day, but I just wanted to turn on the camera, shoot something, take a break from watching all the terrible news going on in the world. So, share my thoughts about my favorite focal length. Even when I was shooting weddings, when I was doing prep shooting, like I usually would have like a 35 or a 50 millimeter prime, and that seemed to get shots that I like. I'm pretty sure like even Gerald Undone has said that his talking head shots are shot on 35 millimeter. I like watching his videos. I like how they look. The funny thing about my setup here is that it's a tiny little tripod, so a PGY Tech tripod that's on top of a box because I don't actually have a tall tripod to put the camera on. I just want to share a new setup I have. I'm really enjoying the A6700. I think it's like all the camera I'm gonna need for a long time. I can't see anything being better than this. I had a little short stint with the Sony FX30. And as you can see, I wear glasses. I'm 45 years old, and I was having issues with the camera not having a viewfinder, which wasn't an issue like 10 years ago when I was shooting weddings. I used to rarely use the viewfinder on cameras that I was using. But as I get older, I appreciate having the viewfinder on the A6700. And I'm really enjoying the size and the balance of having that 24 millimeter f2.8G on this camera. Even though it's a full frame lens, and people say like you shouldn't buy full frame lenses for APS-C cameras, but if you look at the specs of the lens, there's not really an APS-C equivalent that would kind of fit with the A6700. And what I mean by that is that there are 24 millimeter lenses for APS-C, none of which are weather sealed, as compact, and work with the active stabilization on the Sony A6700, and also the focus breathing. And when you shoot video, that's a very important feature to have in a lens. And a lot of the third-party lenses or older 24 millimeter lenses from Sony, they don't work with that focus breathing compensation. What I mean is I can take like this watch and I can put it right in front of the camera, and then it focuses on it, and you see very little change in the frame on the edges. No focus breathing. I can pull this back, and it's back focusing on me, and that's a big deal to me. It might not be a big deal to you, but I really like this combo. And if you're looking for like an APS-C setup with a 35mm equivalent, I do recommend this lens. Like, I highly recommend this lens, the 24mm f2.8G. I mean, yeah, you're not going to get that 1.8 or 1.4 shallow depth of field, but the trade-off is that you get weather sealing and the functionality with the software within the camera. Focus breathing, active stabilization works much better. But that's enough yapping for today. Hopefully we get some more good news in the world. But until then, I'm just going to keep playing with cameras, raising my kids to be good, upstanding people, and do my little part in this corner of YouTube. Thanks for watching.